That is absolute dynamite. And boom, it goes.
And boom, the layout goes. Sluster and the Kran are on the move. To the Kran.
Welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of London Invite 2025, our last round of women's division action of the weekend, as LMU, London Masters Ultimates, taking on YAKA from Noisy-le-Sec on the outskirts of Paris. Benji Reese in the booth with you for this one. We have LMU in the black, YAKA in the white, and it's the French who are starting on offense. Bass finds the centering pass. Now that's a floater off the left hand of Lucy Barnes, who of course will be abundantly familiar with many of her opposition, but that time a slight miscommunication, just going to surrender it straight back to YAKA. Had an underwhelming weekend by their very high standards. And Gervin airing it out deep to right towards that back cone. Is a beautiful shot as well. Nanu and Lebogne with the goal. And YAKA get on the board, not a clean hold, but they earned it back very sharpish and then put it in at the first time in their second possession to give themselves the 1-0 lead. Poliquin in pursuit, but not close enough. Been a lovely weekend here at London Invite. 45 live stream games over the 2 days, not including the little bonus coverage we had for you on free Frisbee Friday. Women's bronze medal match going on behind us as well. That is Smog up against Spice. And the women's final, with the final pitch offset ever so slightly, gets underway in just under half an hour. That is Bristol versus Iceni, but they're still in action in the open final there. Canada U24s have got themselves an 8-7 half-time lead on the host side. Clapham. Here's Cheska Weddle. Puts a bit of air underneath it to sit it up. Hill trying to rifle it down the sideline. Maria Castillo had other ideas. Bass, again, trying to orchestrate the offense off the turn here. Squeezes the blade through to Castillo. Wanted to go back to Bass, but Hill was expecting it. Bevan takes off deep, and it is delivered on a line there by Georgie Hill to get LMU on the board. Both sides turning it over on their first offensive point, but converting with their second possession. LMU tie us at 1 apiece. You see, tried to squeeze that one through, back to Bastard Castillo. And I think Georgie Hill could see that one coming. Just stepped into the lane to make sure it was rejected. And then steps into the flick and just sits it out into space there for the aforementioned Bevan. YAKA not quite at 100% strengths here, because losing a few players to that French World Games squad. Clara Mathias and Juan Lucas Lefebvre, World Games alternates, but both Chloes in fact, Olivier and Valet, part of the full side that will be making the trip to Chengdu. I am very much looking forward to the World Games. Pinnacle of the sport. Ball from LMU, going to be fielded from the floor by Rasta, Aline Mondio, who was part of the French World Games side 3 years ago in Birmingham, Alabama. Wanted the brief little pop forward to Drucker, but instead trying to swing around the back. LMU using this zone to maybe try and disrupt any pool plays that YAKA had planned to get them out of an offensive rhythm. Mondio just taking these little chisels from behind that Langlois is providing. Working well with Sora. Munier dishes off, and now Mondio again. Drucker comes towards this side. Steps out, sits the flick into space for Langlois, taking the ambitious option all the way over the top. Did Kulikovska close in time? That'll be the discussion they're having here. I must say, I was not expecting it to go a lot of air underneath it, and certainly it hung for long enough. She might well have had that, you know. Close either way. And they are saying in the end they're going to retract the call, and the turnover stands. LMU getting themselves another break opportunity. They had one on the first point, but they couldn't convert. Nichols looking down the line. Too far for Weddle. Backhand force from LMU to try and trap Langlois on this sideline. Shake and bake in the handler space. With the stall rising, putting air underneath it. It's going to invite all sorts of defenders, but they were not enough. Well tracked by YAKA as the defenders got too far underneath it. And Charlotte van Gerven had eyes on it all the way and collects to give YAKA the lead once more. 2-1 here over LMU. Sophie Bevan then the initiator on that underneath towards this near sideline. Next with the next option downfield. That one too far and intercepted by YAKA. Taking a little bit of time to adjust to playing offense on the turn. Bath putting their name on it. Trying to measure the flick deep. Oh, what a throw from Bath, delivering as they always do. Ellen Beigelberg, the receiver of choice on that occasion. Bath's throw was bang on the money. Slashing horizontally across the field. Able to get this one out before Alperin can threaten that release point. And judged to perfection from Bath. YAKA then with that early break advantage. LMU will try and stop the break train rolling as Bevan has to adjust to make that catch low to the ground. Weddle in the centre with a dish off. Thompson. Trying to marshal things from the backfield. LMU happy to take the short passes where required. That one pops uphill, not able to get it at the second attempt. The sideline closed too quickly, but a foul called. The rise that it was a tough option, and yeah, from that repeat, look at it again. Make your minds up as to whether there was enough contact to constitute the foul. This time Mondio trying to get the edge to keep it in bounds, but it never took that inside out shape that she wanted. And it's going to be an opportunity to bring it quite a way up the field here for YAKA. Thompson to orchestrate them from the backfield, immediately wanting to get it off the line, and Hill continues the swing to Bevan. Bevan finding the scoring pass downfield. LMU schemed that up and executed it exactly how they wanted. Mayetta on the end with the score. Watching ULTI.TV's coverage of London Invite with 45 live streamed games. All thanks to more London Invite access here on ULTI.TV. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you along this weekend. Ball going up, hits the ground hard and then rolls towards that YAKA end zone. Pass picks up, and we've seen that they are dealing in so far in this game. This time just the swing to Labogne. Going round, little check to make sure the feet were in bounds there from Jalink, and now Babikian. Off past his fingertips, and Labogne provides the backup. As their blushes. Castillo now working quickly with Bass, leading Babikian, who you know is always willing to provide the layout. Bass air underneath it, looking for Castillo, who catches in front of the defender Van Krieken. Babikian wide open in the backfield. Bass looking for options again. This time tried to squeeze the inside-out channel all the way through to the end zone. But they knew what they wanted on that occasion. So LMU with a chance to bring us back on serve here. Treble on the far side. Now Laura Van Krieken perfs the throw. Bass picks up and rips it. All sorts of defenders and receivers in the area. Able to keep the toe in bounds is going to be the question. Require a second look at it. There's the opportunity with Van Krieken grasping the forehand. Bass picks up the old grip and rip. Becker, who's the player in the area. I'm not quite sure. And yeah, they're not sure either, so they are going to contest it, send it back to Bas, the thrower. Yeah, it all seems very civilized discussions. In case we're not sure, so let's just do it again. Although, to be honest, I imagine Bas holds it this time. Another deep shot coming out of YAKA. Not afraid to shoot. It's Treble this time who provides the block. Thompson will walk it to the front. Wind picking up a little bit. This is the upwind direction for LMU. Poliquin with the layout. And this one, underneath it. On Krieken, not the cleanest catch. The wind really does pick up now. You feel it shaking the little marquee here on the sideline. Although thankfully this tent is not going to end up in the ocean. Foul accepted by Castillo on Thompson. He motions help into the backfield and then slices through to Van Krieken. Now Ford. Waving cutters away. Takes the dish back to Treble. Handler mark on that far side, sitting off into the lane a little bit that stopped the inside shot. Now the break throw looking for Thompson is too high. And despite her best efforts, it's over her head and into the floor, and YAKA will get it back. Castillo on the underneath. Getting a big yardage gainer there. Lucy Barnes. Long time Iceni standout. Becker looking for the aggressive crossfield throw. Finds it. And then trying to weigh up the option. Bas is all alone. And YAKA giving some opportunities to LMU. Working hard to get them back. And make sure that the offense so far remains unbroken. The one break of the game has gone YAKA's way for the 4-2 lead. Beautiful day here at Grasshoppers Rugby Football Club in Osterley, West London. Spirits have been high all weekend. The bar has been doing some very tidy business by the looks of it. This is tidy business as well. We've seen Bas deliver the deep shots. This time they're on the receiving end. Alper infields from the floor. And now Gainey. Underneath to Mayetta. And Mayetta's turn to shoot. Bevan tries to track it, but I think realises that the edge is always going to take it over her head. A floater that's going to end up back in the arms of Mayetta. The unflappable Alper in. Goes across to Weddle. Hill charges underneath, creates the separation on Drucker. Then looking for the continue, not enough loft. And YAKA are there to palm it out of that far sideline. I think Francesca Lakanica with the block. Mondio looking for the inside, but maybe a miscommunication between the YAKA cutters. Not sure who the true target was. LMU using the width of the field, and Gainey comes up to bring it down. And LMU keeping it close, but unable to generate the break that they would need to get this one back on serve in this contest. Elsewhere at the field site on the moment, the open final in the closing stages between Canada U24 and Clapham. And we also have the women's game between the Stingrays, the Aussie U24 women, and Dublin Gravity. Time out here on the field then, London Invite. YAKA midway through this first half hold the narrow advantage and a 4-3 lead.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
YAKA with a narrow advantage, a 4-3 lead. The one break here, they lead LMU, the London Masters Ultimate. See that multicoloured logo reflecting the various tube lines of the capital. Shout out to the almost entirely pointless Waterloo and City. Although as a Southeast Londoner, I must say that I find the fact that the tube doesn't stretch to my neck of the woods incredibly rude. Piccadilly line is how we get out here to Osterley to Grasshoppers Rugby Club, the host of London Invite. Le Bogne. Pass. Swinging to Becker. Castillo and Bass running between themselves now. Le Bogne leading Bass slightly forward, chiseling away, tried to float that one over the top, thinking they saw the soft spot. Fisk was aware and slapped it down, and will now pick up off the turn. Hamer clears through, going to activate Andres as the reset. Nice high grab made there by Kulikovska. Fisk. Looking for Andres on the underneath, but can't connect. Becker now to Bass. And Becker again, a riser on the sideline. Babikian caught it on the tip. Just about able to keep it in bounds as well. Becker looking for the wide option and finds the rapid feed of Maria Castillo for the score. Both sides doing a very good job offensively of using the width here. And the wind's not that strong. It's certainly nowhere near as strong as it has been at times yesterday, you really do have the option to take on those big lateral passes, not necessarily going too far downfield, but again, forcing defenders to go from sideline to sideline and unable to cover the gap in time. LMU again coming out on offense. Thompson able to lead that one over the top of the hill. Bevan faking the high release. Thompson. Now Gainey. Looking towards the end zone. Bevan again. Really churning up yardage downfield. We're finding Maeta for the clean hold. Calm, assured offense on that occasion for LMU. Obviously just got so much chemistry and connection honed down through the years. And when they make it click, it really does flow fluidly. Just the one break of the game, back going YAKA's way early, and they've just maintained that distance to this point. Open final has wrapped up, so women's final will begin soon between Iceni and Bristol, the two UK women's powerhouses. Gravity versus the Aussie U24 Stingrays is going on field 4 behind us. That one 5-3 to the Australians. Babikian getting more involved as the game ticks on. Weigelberg. Back to Babikian. Waiting for defenders to come in closer to open up the spaces in behind. Castillo pulls the trigger, not quite yet in the end zone though is Barnes. Going back to Castillo. And before LMU can close, Castillo punches it into Bars. You can see he's got some tape on that right hand. So hopefully that is nothing too serious and just trying to manage a little bit of strain or a bit of bruising, perhaps. Again on the replay, just staying very calm with no force on Castillo. Always going to back herself to put it out in front of Bass, with the defender kept sealed away on the back shoulder. Ball lands just about out of bounds, and Mara Alperin will stride confidently to the brick mark. Get time to survey her options. Runners begin to adjust and move. First pass is just a little pop to that far sideline. Working with Lodge, and now all the way across to Hill. YAKA again, going very flat up front. A brief stoppage, this is going to come back. Travel maybe. Langlois just marking the spot where Alperin needs to be. LMU back in possession on offense. Low, but Hill gets two hands underneath it. Gainey off the hand. Gives it to YAKA, a chance to open their advantage further. Langlois gonna turn and fire deep. And good defensive coverage there from Sophie Bevan, but a foul called by Carla Sorin. Two of them will have the discussion. Talk it out, see if they can come to a resolution one way or the other, or whether the disc does get sent back to Langlois. Good spirit there from YAKA. See Langlois, the thrower, putting her hand up to signal that she had a perspective and suggesting to her teammate, Carla Sorin, that she doesn't think it was a foul, and that point of view is accepted. So, foul call retractive and the turnover stands. Weddle to Hill, who's got space on the near side. Now Alperin. Going across. That one ripped downfield, and Maeta is wide open, so why the heck not? And LMU, again, keeping it close. YAKA not able to extend their advantage. Zips that one to the end zone. Didn't want to hang it up, lest the defender close in, and it could be thrown flat and true. To find Maeta, who's been a lively scoring option for LMU in this game. It's the one break separating these two sides. Run up for the ball here from Fisk. Outside in shape on it. Hits the floor. Where it's fielded, and the first pass goes to Becker. Back to Bass. Bass again, gunning it downfield. Defenders way underneath it. And Castillo can watch it all the way into the breadbasket. Bass's Hucks have been on the money in this contest. And YAKA are such a better side when Bass is dealing as they are in this game. This gives that vertical element to their offense that they really need, because they've got players who are more than willing to put in the hard yards on those deep cuts. Castillo is one such option, and Castillo is also very nice to have, because if she doesn't get it deep, then so often she'll turn, get the big under, and then turn and rip it herself. So YAKA could take us into half-time if they are able to find a break here. Mondio to pull. Gets just beyond midfield, where Hill picks up. You can hear that the women's final is shortly to get underway. Tom Stiles doing the stadium announcing.
And the champion for London Invite 2025 in the Open Division,
Clapham winning their own tournament in the Open Division and giving themselves a £1,000 novelty check. Cue meme of Obama giving himself a medal. Mayetta, oh, with the hammer. And it looks like Janie's hands were slightly the wrong way round. Had that right hand on top, and actually doing so crossed herself up a little bit. Maybe the throw coming down slightly more angled than she expected.
Good afternoon and welcome to the London Invite Women's Division. The two teams, Bristol and Iceni, are about to join us on the pitch. Is everybody ready for some live Women's Ultimate?
So can YAKA break their way into the half. The moment they're not getting much cooking with this D-line offense. Eventually they find an option on the far side. Mondio acting as the orchestrator. Gainey, fumble of that hammer, gave possession to YAKA, who are grafting their way downfield at the moment. And Mondio tries to squeeze it through with nothing going on and finds only black shirts and green grass. Thompson with the flick to the end zone. Evans in for the score. And LMU again not letting YAKA escape away into the distance.
Number 54, Fiona Kwan. Number 67, Amy Van Zyl. Number 69, Anna Anosovich. Number 70, Chi Ling Wu. Number 72, Madeleine Leong. Number 87,
The question for LMU here is trying to find a way to put the YAKA offense under more pressure.
And their coach, Jamie Rebetz. Now put your hands together for Iceni. And now welcome in white from Bristol. Number 4, Hannah Budd. Number 7, Jasmine Brian Boyd. Number 8, Ellie Payne. Number 9,
Liam Grant has come over to join me in the booth. Afternoon, Liam.
Good afternoon. This looks like a good game.
It's very tight, just the one break so far. YAKA got in early and been able to keep on it. Both sides have had chances to break either way, but generally it's been a game where offenses have been on top. Le Borgne to Bass, taking the wide swing options around the back. This LMU zone not necessarily aggressively forcing turnovers as much as it is forcing a methodical approach. Babikian on the far sideline. Pass chiseling away. Le Bogne. Dishing back Becker, all the turf.
I like that zone look from LMU, kind of almost a box up top, and as you said, very soft, very passive, forcing YAKA to make lots of swing passes and there get the short field turn.
Ford coming through on the far sideline. Van Krieken slashes across. Still count rising, looking into the backfield with Babikian right on her back. Burbage makes the catch. The lefty Hamer with a big pump down the sideline, going for the inside backhand. Inches too far for Anna Treble.
That would have been a massive moment for LMU, the short field, a chance to capitalize, to get that upwind break. Bass doesn't hesitate now, all the way from downtown.
And this is kept on going. Becker is not quite going to be able to jump it into the end zone, but the simplest of scoring passes in the end. And once more, Bass's Hut have been on point in this game.
Paola Bass deciding that she had enough of that dump swing offense. She said, I'm going to take control of this one. I think it's a good idea when you're going down with an offense. You don't want to turn outside your own end zone. Give LMU the easy chance, and
So many of the games this weekend have been
going coast to coast here. I think LMU zone maybe could do better to stand in the lane a little bit and try and stop that hook. Certainly when Bass has it. And the YAKA players in hot pursuit to finish that one off. Looks like it's half-time here, Benji.
It is indeed half-time. YAKA carrying that one break advantage all the way through this first half then here at London Invite Women's Division Action 2025.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And traded the net and made good.
That was absolutely incredible.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Women's Division Action, the 5th place finals, or the finals, if you will. LMU taking on YAKA. YAKA got a break early in the first half, and every score has been in that left-hand end zone since then. So YAKA with their noses narrowly in front. Mayetta. Seen her a lot in the deep space, but working underneath here. Oh, a floaty toss, but Hill had beaten it all the way. There's a stoppage away from the disc downfield that I don't think affected the play there.
A massive point in the game here is LMU coming on offense, but having to go upwind. And as you said, I don't think they've scored in that upwind end zone yet. But starting off with possession here and already at the halfway line. If they could bang this one in, they'd have a great chance of getting the break back.
Hill. Feeding Bevan. Trying to find an option with the stall. Picking up. Bounces it off Thompson as the reset. And now Weddle coming through. Shooting an end zone shot. It's going to pop up, but it's going to stay inbounds. And once more, Mayetta continuing a virtuoso receiving game. LMU scoring against the wind to start this second half, Liam.
What an incredible take there. Mayetta owning the skies here in London. I believe that's Mia Castillo in hot pursuit, but you can't teach tall, and great catch under pressure. And you feel like if they didn't score that point, it was going to be very difficult for LMU to get back in this game, but they managed to get it done, Benji. I
thought you couldn't teach tall, and then someone told me that you definitely could, and I didn't believe them. But, so it's good to know that I've been backed up.
That was a clean hold upwind for LMU. And now, can they back it up with a downwind break? They've looked really good all tournament long, LMU. Had some really good zone defenses, some good strategy. Really playing to their strengths. Let's see what they do now. See Mondieu on the line here for YAKA, but it doesn't look like Paul Abbas is out there, so interested to see what YAKA do with possession now. Don't know if they're maybe playing upwind, downwind wind lines. Benji, have you noticed anything like that? But
not necessarily, but I guess upwind, downwind has just been O&D so far at this point, so it's tough to tell. This is generally the line we've seen go in this direction from YAKA. The French just happy to take a more methodical approach on this possession against this frustrating LMU zone, and it gets exactly what it wanted, the drop out of YAKA. Of course, down a number of their stars this weekend, playing with the French World Games side. Going to be picked up by Andres, who tries to immediately sneak it through to Weddle, but didn't lead her enough into space, hit the wrong shoulder, and it's going to go straight back to YAKA. That's a glorious opportunity missed for LMU, Liam.
I'm waiting for Mondieu to take a page out of the Paul Abbas playbook and just launch it. Play for some territory. Happy to take the swings here and getting a few yards here and there. Now the jailbreak comes, Benji.
Yeah, they've got some motion going. Finding those soft spots throughout the zone. Munier. Mondieu. Low, and Munier scoops it before it hits the grass. That one kept inbounds by Sarah. Shooting towards the end zone. The float on it gave the defender no chance, and LMU must be ruining that missed opportunity.
Yeah, massive opportunity for LMU after being gifted a disc outside the opposition end zone. YAKA wastes no time when they get possession back, and a beautiful touch throw to the back of the end zone. And that was the upwind side, a very difficult throw to execute. But Carla Sorin showing her worth there. I think that with those upwind shots at the end zone, just make it catchable. That's the main objective. Don't let the edge catch the wind. Just sail it in the back of the end zone, let your receiver run it down. So LMU are going to have to try and march it upwind again. Both teams managed to score upwind there. Contrast to the first half. You think LMU can win UK Nationals this year?
They've done it before. Apparently that year they knew. They had a feeling they were down. They were pulling on Universe Point a couple of times and didn't seem bothered by the whole thing. They just always confident that they would come up trumps, that it was their year to take the crown.
How long before they change the name to LGMU?
Grandmasters is just a subset of Masters, right? It's like the Northern Line City branch. Well, that's a pop-up and well caught at the second attempt.
And a zone look here from YAKA. It looks like maybe a bit of an arrowhead or certainly a passive zone again. And you got to think this might suit the Masters players.
Yeah, there's probably no defense that they haven't encountered at this point. There's the shot down the sideline and shot perfectly into the end zone for Hill, who's just able to keep her position at that front cone for the LMU score. Again, neither side able to find another break in this game after that early advantage was gained by YAKA.
Great timing from Georgie Hill. Another beautiful clean hold upwind, and yeah, I'm not sure if that zone's going to work against LMU. I think they're happy to play against the zone and just use their good throws and smart positioning to unlock the zone. You got to think YAKA come out and just try and run them hard. That's the advantage in my opinion.
Yeah, they do have actually slightly more legs this weekend, LMU. It has been an underwhelming weekend from YAKA. Of course, they suffered a shock loss to Smog yesterday morning that meant that they were sealed out of the semi-finals. Two-time champions here at London Invite YAKA. Have really kind of ruled the venue generally here at Grasshoppers Rugby Football Club.
It's been a fantastic venue for the weekend. Beautiful grass fields here. The Showcase field being a turf field, but looks like lovely grass fields to play on. And was that Maria Castillo taking the pull to the face there? She didn't see that one coming, did she?
Unusual, usually got her head on the swivel. Mondio to the brick mark. And Rasta will begin the possession with a little pop. It's that box up front with the three downfield.
And I think if you're in that box, you got to try and keep Mondieu off the disc. And early go, if you're one of the handler marks there, come in tight on Mondieu, make someone else throw through the cup. But all the YAKA players doing fairly well in possession of the disc.
Mondio, they're getting a little greedy, tried to force it through, but only find Thompson's arm. And now Thompson putting the arm to work. The D-line offense, but not for the first time. They turn it over with the very first pass. When they've got opportunities, LMU, they've been far too loose with it. Rising grab there made by YAKA. Back into Mondio's hands. Looks like it's just going to be a match defense this time from LMU. Not necessarily thinking they had the time or the positioning to get that zone set up. Drucker looking to get it off the line. Now with the stall rising, Thompson aggressively poaching that lane. Going to float over everyone and well read by YAKA. And accepted foul. He's going to keep it in French hands. The score should be 9-8 by the way, Rex.
And the elevator backhand to the middle of the end zone. And YAKA get the hold.
Yeah, that'll make it 10-8. And YAKA again just keeping that little edge. Not for the first time. LMU, I feel like the majority of O points for YAKA, they've found a way to get the disc off them. But after the turn, they've not ever really been able to get anything truly cooking.
Yeah, it's not good enough to generate break chances. You have to convert them. And LMU have had two opportunities the last two YAKA offensive points, but they can't get in there. And again, that high release backhand, often difficult to execute in these blustery conditions, but enough spin on it and a nice two-footed jump to take that one down. Definitely fearless with their throwing here, YAKA. And we'll see, LMU have had two clean holds. You got to feel like YAKA's going to get the break opportunity at some stage, and maybe they can be a bit more clinical with it.
Alperin watches the pull into the chest. Now Hill. That's a miscommunication. Not that it matters when Sophie Bevan's in the area and on the prowl. Weddle might fire this deep to Mayetta. Instead, Mayetta just creates a little bit of space underneath and then floats it into the Evan for the rapid hands of Sophie Bevan for the score, who has been superb in this contest for LMU.
Outstanding for Bevan. That a wayward disc, and she had her head on a swivel and somehow managed to rescue that from the grass. As you see the cut being pulled out there, and she turns around and an acrobatic catch with her momentum going the other way, and you can see YAKA scared of that deep shot, getting under and following up the play. Brilliant from Sophie Bevan. And pretty impressive from both teams, scoring every upwind point since half.
It's very much been a game with offense on top here, Liam.
And you know, there's strong players on both D-lines. You see YAKA had Maria Castillo out there. We haven't seen Paula Bass in a while. I'm not sure if she was on that D-line.
Yeah, interesting to see how they're managing things here. Getting ready for the pull here. LMU. Nice deep one as well. Going to be fielded just in front of the end zone line there. First pass goes to Mondio. Different defensive option again here from LMU. Looking more like an arrowhead. Yeah, they're trying to force this pass count high. Maybe hoping that they can catch a gust of wind or tease a little error out of their opponents.
Yeah, it does look like a different zone. I quite like this look. Even more passive at times, but not a lot of space in the middle of the pitch.
I think you have to keep kind of rotating through these defensive options, so you can't let YAKA get comfortable, and maybe you make them second guess precisely where those spaces are. Drucker, Munier, and now Sedra. There's the transition into a match coverage. Soran has an under available, but good job by the force there, sagging off Jessica Weddle. Lakanica. Joyce Kwok doing an excellent job of mirroring the hips and preventing the first option from going, but YAKA are just able to keep recycling it here. Another underneath comes. Ramming it down the fourth side at the moment. Now they might get a little bit more room to work with. Putting edge on it and did not sit for long enough.
Some great offense. 9/10 the way down the field, but can't convert. LMU, a long way to go. They really struggle to convert these break opportunities. This one possibly the most challenging, but let's see if they can come up with some kind of set play here. Being given the easy reset.
Yeah, taking it to Fisk in the center. They've got a wide swing available and they will utilize it here. Finding a yardage gainer in the underneath space. Nevered into the center to Kulikovska. Has Fisk in the backfield. Doesn't want it at the first time though. Nichols instead. Trying to find an option. Taking the reset, Andres going wide. What? Zinging it high and hard, but well tracked. Nevitt. Is this the moment? Backwards to Andres. Little too spicy for Weddle, and it was a bit behind her, and not for the first time.
They had a shot there for the goal. There was a shot at the front corner.
I must admit, I'm with you. I think it could have gone there. And instead they turn it on that inside swing. Underneath it towards the sideline. Checking the feet is inbounds there, Van Gerven. High release floated into the center, all sorts of defenders. And they're going to do a good enough job of making sure YAKA can't get the catch. Andres then to pick up. Fisk turns, pivots, rips the backhand, but that is not going to connect.
No, you're throwing downwind and far too much zip on that throw. You got to throw that kind of lofty, high and almost release backhand, let it sit in the air and let the wind carry it gently, and that one just far too much zip on it, as I said. And I don't hate the option, just the execution of the throw not there.
But you will at least get some field position back. Although perhaps it went out earlier than I had accounted for. So it's not going to force YAKA as close to their end zone as maybe it could have. Taking the inside break off the line again, it hits the floor. Third opportunity this point for LMU. Fisk, that's a floater. Andres catches. Into the center, never in acres of space. Going back to Nichols. Lefty threatens the around with that flick. Andres instead behind Nichols once more. And YAKA, I think, understandably calling a timeout because both sides looking scrappy at the moment here, Liam.
Yeah, this is a long point for both sides, and the sideline rushing to provide some water to help their teammates cool down.
Yeah, 10-9 YAKA with a lead late in the game against LMU here at London Invite.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
YAKA up 10-9 late in this game here against LMU in the 5-alls. As they call it. 3 opportunities for LMU to get a break on this point. YAKA with a 4th chance to hold now. Mondio calling the timeout and gets immediately point blocked.
I think she called that timeout because she was tired, and then that was a bit of a tired throw there.
Surely now this is the chance for LMU. Fisk will pick up.
YAKA surrounding the stack, but to no prevail.
Yeah, just hard, committed cut that time. Does finally get LMU over the precipice. The first break since the very start of the game. is going to go the way of LMU. Had to put the body on the line, but fully committed. And that is LMU tying us up at 10s. And in truth, they've had more than enough opportunities to get it done beforehand.
Brilliant from LMU. That timeout not working out for YAKA. I know there's a lot of people out there who dislike the in-play timeout.
I understand why they called it, because things had got very messy. It looked leggy, it looked fatigued, but to come in and immediately get hand blocks like that is the classic turnout.
And I've been always a fan of changing the rules of Ultimate and, you know, trying new things. How would you feel about the personnel change in timeout? Something we've seen in some of the pro leagues in the US.
See, it would be interesting to me. Would you be allowed to substitute a full 7, or would it just be, say, one player? Or
I like the full 7.
Would your opposition be allowed to sub as well?
Yes, I think I like it. It's very interesting, but it sucks if you're a D-line player and you get the block and you get a chance to break, and then they call timeout and bring on a fresh 7 offensive player.
That would be my problem with it, is that, you know, I feel like one of the nice things is that if you go out there and get the block, you then have to go and score it. Bass with a hammer over the top, feeling cramped and congested in close quarters, so trying to find that release valve. They hammer it over the top. Babikian was the closest player, but way over her head. I don't hate it, because Bass had to do something.
Yeah, if you're going to turn over, at least look cool doing it, and that was a cannon of a hammer.
Confirmed, Alabas is cool. Although I think we need that already.
Got to do a bit of commentary with Paula this weekend. Just had some great insight on how to play.
That does not surprise me at all. That one pops up ever so slightly. Intercepted back, and here is the aforementioned Bath. Babikian. YAKA advancing onto the end zone, and a lovely lead throw into space there from Le Borgne. Steo will give YAKA the lead again, 11-10, with just a couple of minutes left. This game could well go all the way to Universe here, Liam.
Yeah, and Bass commanding this downwind line. Castillo, such a great player to attack that front cone. Has legs for days. I can see the way Boss plays. I don't think that particular downwind line are going to get broken. I'm not sure if they have. Because Paula throws it deep pretty early, they're not giving a short field. That's how LMU got the last break, was a turnover from YAKA inside their own end zone. I think Bass isn't going to let that happen. They are going to chuck it deep pretty early and never give up field position. And it'd be interesting if that holds out for them. You can see, you know, not afraid to play Huck and D, that particular line. You can see it's been the kryptonite for LMU. They did get one break, but that was almost gifted to them. They've struggled to convert those break opportunities.
So Hill picks up the pull. Just gives a little bit of direction. Medal in the intermediate space to Mayetta. And Hill taking the quick one, Alper into Weddle. And they're poaching off those swing. They're happy to let LMU move it laterally. That's a high grab, stuck well by Bevan, who's been impeccable. And then Hill is going to gun this one, looking for Mayetta. And I don't think Mayetta was expecting it. And they're, rather than walking it to the front, taking it quickly from the back of the end zone, maybe trying to pull a fast one. Does not pay off as that throw floats. Bevan got a tiny piece of it, but it, I think, had already gone. Now Hill on the end zone line is just going to pop it in for the score. By little 11s.
Time ticking away here.
It has just expired, but just after that point when, so 11-11, we will have a game to 13 here, Liam.
Yeah, that's my assessment of the situation as well. And good transition offense there from LMU, and just posting that one in the letterbox. Let's see what they can do now. They're going to have to get an up and break if they are going to win this game. LMU.
And it's nowhere near as fiercely windy as it was yesterday. And we had a good run of points where both sides were scoring against the wind, so it's certainly very feasible. LMU just sorting out their matchups, or a zone look potentially here, getting ready to pull. Sam Fisk, who provided the assist for the break score that brought them on level terms a few points ago. Fisk's ball will roll into Bars's grateful clutches. Le Bogne has Babikian on this near side. LMU, as they all want to do, continuing to rotate through their defensive options. Being very active, passing off these switches. Babikian finds a little spot underneath. Le Bogne breaking around to create that angle. This is a very assured possession here from YAKA. Got Castillo if they want it, no. Fakes and then goes back to Castillo. And Castillo rips it away to bring YAKA within one of the win.
A good clean hole there for YAKA. I actually quite like this LMU zone. I think they're forcing him to take lots of passes going downwind, but executed very well on this occasion from YAKA. The pull quite short as well, so pretty much starting from half field, which makes it difficult for LMU to stop this YAKA side. But this downwind line, often finished off by Castillo, very difficult to stop.
Yeah, Castillo was part of the Tokay SuperTeam last year at Windmill, where they captured the gold medal. Didn't quite go to plan for them this weekend. So I wonder if Castillo could maybe go to Stef and say, did you miss me? She got the winning goal in the Windmill final last year, towing in a Joe White scuba on the sideline. Against France, the reigning European champions.
Scoring goals, doing what she does best. And as you see, Rasta now going to pull for YAKA. They'd love to finish this one off with a break.
Yeah, not let it have to go to Universe Point.
Rasta, one of the World Games player from the last cycle with France.
Yeah, there was a young core, but a fair few players, yeah, not invited to the tryouts this year. Chief and Mother, oh, did Hill keep that up? I thought she might have done.
I think it looked up to me. Oh, so hard to tell from these angles.
They are going to call it up. That was my initial instinct. Yeah, Mondio didn't get the call to tryouts. Neither did Quentin Roger. He was far and away the stat leader for France last time. So keeping that infusion of youth about the side. Thompson claws it in and distributing towards the far side to Maeta. Zips it into the ground. YAKA will get a chance to break for the win. Finding the underneath option, that flow braids. And that's going to allow Thompson to smack it to the turf. High release, inside backhand there from Thompson, and now they get the continuation, Maeta. Got to play a wide open on this near side. And Gainey just putting a little bit of edge on it for Georgie Hill to make it 12s, although this might come back on a pick.
And a pick called away from the play.
It does happen. I mean, it happens, you know, comfortably before the pass is thrown. But did it really affect the passage of play? Will be the question they're having.
And this rule is a lot open to interpretation. In my opinion, it didn't. I understand the collision happened quite a while ago, but involves players not involved in that particular play.
Yeah, it is very much a pick. I'm not disputing that. And in fact, they're going to take it a pass even further back to Alperin.
Yeah, I don't know how it affected the pass to Alperin, unless possibly Rasta stopped playing and maybe didn't put the same force on she wanted to.
It will be the rock steady Alperin in the backfield. LMU then looking to punch it in to take us to sudden death, and that is exactly what they will do. Georgie Hill coming under on the open side, winning the race to the cone, and it will be next goal wins to finish this women's division action here at London Invite, Liam. Exactly what you want to see.
Golden goal, sudden death, universe point, call it what you want.
Can I call it double game point?
No.
I agree.
So big moment in the tournament here. Both teams fighting hard. We'll see if they switch up their lines. Does look like YAKA are going to stay with a 7 who've done a great job at converting downwind. Looking at LMU here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of crossovers from the O-line, but maybe they're tired.
Yeah, maybe they just back themselves if they get the block. Trust that this 7 can put it in on the turn. We've got Joyce Kwok, Elena Andres, Alex Nevitt, Jessica Weddle. Trying to see on the far sideline, it's Sam Fisk who's going to pull, Ola Kulakovska, and Caroline Nichols.
Surprised in Universe Point not to see kind of Universe Point lines, but both teams staying with their kind of traditional O&D lines are the ones who've been playing all game long.
Pass to Castillo. Looking to spread it to LeBourne, and that rises over everyone. And LMU will get a chance to break for the win, having not led all game.
I mean, yeah, surprised not to see the likes of, Alperin maybe out there.
Maybe Bevan, who's been so reliable in the intermediate spaces. Mayeto's got that field stretching ability. Andres has not actually set up herself in the field of play, so does so. We are now underway. Fisk faking the backhand. Squeezing it through to Weddle, and now Nichols. Fisk wants the up the lines, not going to get it. Andres might though. Claws it in. It's going to be too far out in front. Becca with a hand on it.
Was that the shot? Benji, LMU had it.
Well, they've got the turn once on Universe. Going to back themselves to do it again here. Fast getting it underneath, and it would not surprise me to see them turn and pump, and I thought it was going. Instead, scything across the field to Barnes.
I was surprised Bass didn't send that one as well.
Barnes into the floor. Usually ever so reliable. Second opportunity for LMU, but with not as advantageous field position. Trying to look down the sideline, squeezing it into Weddle. Again, trying to get it off the sideline and get things moving. YAKA playing good defense after the turn. It's a floater that's caught by Weddle. Now Weddle chancing her arm, going deep and coming back towards it, but just a step shy was Nevitt. And there might be a bit of discussion here, is there? No.
I think it is a turnover. Bit of a collision there, but not the best executed throw. I do like the option though, going upwind. I like to play for some field position.
Pass, gunning it, and I think LeBourne knew from quite an early range that she wasn't getting there. Just not sure that she was expecting it again, which I must admit, whenever Bas has got the disc, I'm always expecting an aggressive yard gaining option. Broken in the centre to Fisk. Defender never saw it there. Babikian and never is able to make the catch.
That is a big old buttery biscuit, Benji.
It is indeed, and somehow Cheska Weddle splits the difference and gets it in her hands. The two defenders in a better position, but Weddle able to lock eyes on the disc. Now looking for the leading inside backhand. The option was there, but didn't get the shape to lead it far enough out in front. And it's slightly behind, and that was enough.
Almost a smashing grab, Benji. That shot was on, an easy throw to win the game, and they can't convert.
They've not had the requisite amount of success that the inside backhand has often brought them. Bas. Again, just trying to sort the spacing downfield. Now they shoot. Babikian, well tracked. Castillo gonna feed her on the line, and it's too far from Babikian.
Just running out of space. Castillo was there. Not enough touch on the throw. I like that look from Bas. Just play for field position.
I mean, Babikian had some separation and was in that space, and absolutely the right thing for Bas to shoot it. Babikian, the European Breakout Player of the Year in the Women's Division a couple of years ago. That one from Andres, no idea what she was looking at. I think miscommunication with the cutters downfield. Bas picks up in the red zone. Little underneath on this occasion to Babikian. Stoppage for a pick.
Inches away from finishing this game off. Looked like LMU had it moments ago, but the odds in YAKA's favor now.
Le Bon taking on the break throw, and Castillo sticks the catch and confirms and seals the victory for YAKA over LMU. The Londoners had their chance on the end zone line, but could not connect on the scoring pass, and that in a way encapsulates the game. LMU were close, but were just not clean enough.
Close but no cigar, and it's the French women YAKA who convert in the end, taking that field position, applying the pressure. And who else but Maria Castillo attacking that corner of the end zone where she's had so much joy. Good awareness to keep her feet inside the end zone. She didn't want to see another pass take place. Finishes it off for YAKA.
And that's going to bring an end to the women's division coverage on this field here at London Invite. The women's final is still in action between Iceni and Bristol. And we've got a couple of mixed games still to come for you. The bronze medal match between Australia and Germany, and the mixed final between Team USA and Team Canada. Here is the Kennington doghouse play of the game. There's brilliant late adjustment on the catch there. Sophie Bevan did so well to keep that alive when it looked for sure like the disc was lost. And then in the end, snuck between the two defenders for the score to boot as well. Thanks very much for watching then ULTI.TV's coverage of London Invite. Final score in this women's 5th place game is YAKA 13, LMU 12. And for Liam Grant and our ULTI.TV crew, Benji Reese, I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV